two good baseball teams going at it. A lot of very high-end baseball players on the field, and I thought that other than a couple of small things here and there that probably we'd like to have back, we competed awfully hard. I don't know we played the cleanest game that we can play. In fact, I know we can play better, but we did compete pitch to pitch with a great amount of emotion and intensity, and I appreciate that for my team a great deal, and we'll bounce back tomorrow and come out ready to play in game 2.
Questions for the student athletes? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Marie will bring you the microphone. If you have a question for a specific student athlete, please indicate that.
Carson, I guess, can you just speak to what Micah, their starter, was able to do kind of early on, just kind of using the lower part of the strike zone there?
Yeah, I mean, he was throwing a lot of balls down, a lot of sliders down. We didn't make great adjustments the first 2 innings, and, I mean, once we did, we got to him, but came a little bit too late.
Trevor, can you kind of talk about the adjustments you guys were able to make and just the success you had just at the plate from after you kind of took those adjustments, started taking those pitches?
We just told each other we got to compete better, have better ABs, see him up, stick with our approach the other way, and if he makes quality pitches, tip your cap and move on.
Carson, I know you kind of mentioned it, I guess, can you just speak to what Josh Young was to Texas Tech today? Obviously, everyone kind of knows he got picked 8th. I guess, what do you kind of think he did today?
I mean, he went yard, gave him a run, and he also dove up the middle, stopped us from getting RBI late in that game. I mean, he was big for their team. He did a pretty good job for them today.
Any more questions for the student athletes?
Trevor, you guys
Hold on.
been down a lot this year. I know it's
Excuse me.
probably not very comfortable being in that situation, but I mean, a game like this where you guys kept chipping away. Oh, sorry. You kept chipping away. How frustrating was it when they kept answering every time you guys were able to score?
It was frustrating, but we just try and stick together. We've been in that spot before, so we weren't exactly uncomfortable. So we just trusted ourselves and trusted the guys on the mound, and we just try and stick together.
Any more questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you, guys. All right, we'll open up to questions for Coach Holliday.
Coach, I know everyone's going to be looking towards that noisy two RBI single, but the 2 at-bats before, 13 pitches that Jensen had to throw with the 2 walks. I guess how important were those just in terms of that little rally that they had that allowed them to kind of score there?
Well, they're very competitive, and they're very disciplined players. They're good players, and you just saw what good players, when they play back to back to back, do as far as complementing one another. It's how a team is built. It's what makes them good, and we respect the way those kids play. They're good baseball players, and so that's just it's in their DNA. It's how they play the game. Compliments to them.
Baseball's a game of adjustments. So what did you guys do to kind of adjust to what Michael was able to do early on and kind of allowed you to succeed?
Well, like the kids told you, just try to be a little bit more competitive the second time through. Try to see the pitches and locations where they were hittable versus locations where they start out as hittable but arrive unhittable. Start out as strikes and finish as balls. You need to find pitches that start out as strikes and arrive as strikes. Other than that, that's good self-talk, trusting your sight to see the ball and then believing in your swing. So it's the highest level of college baseball competition, that young man out there throwing his pitches and our kids going pitch to pitch with him. They're very high-level athletes. Those are not common pitches being thrown, nor are they common players playing against each other.
Josh, it seemed like every time they made a run, you had an answer. You came up a little bit short, but how do you carry that over into tomorrow and keep your guys level?
I don't have to do that with this team. Tomorrow's a new game, and they know that, and we play tomorrow's game independently of today's. That's it. We've been doing that for a long time. They know that's the only mature approach towards the game. That's what we'll do, and tomorrow's a new game. I told the kids I was very proud of the way they competed down the stretch to the very, very last pitch, especially late in the game against some excellent relief pitchers. They were very competitive against them and put runners in position and competed pitch to pitch much better as the game went on. So they know what they're capable of doing. I believed in them to the very end. They believed in themselves to the very end, that a pitch was going to show up that we could put a barrel on and tie that game or turn it around. In the end, he made a couple of beautiful pitches to finish the game, move on, and pick up tomorrow.
Coach, I should ask Trevor this, but I mean, you played the game before, and your experiences. A day like today with the high sky, it seemed like there was some troubles out in the outfield here and there. Can you speak to that at all? I mean, is it difficult to see the ball out there and play defense?
I mean, I think you might be making reference to the ball that landed that we got glove on and didn't catch. I think probably more than anything, it was in the air a long time. The athletes traveled a great distance. All of them are running full speed, and I think at the very last minute there might have been a lack of comfort in finishing the play for fear of maybe, just colliding. I mean, that's a play we normally make, but today we didn't make it. So no excuses, and it's no transfer of blame. That one play didn't cost us the game, but sometimes when you're in a spacious park playing deep and a ball goes up quite high and it comes down into a spot where people are running full speed for a long time, your internal clock gets a slight bit off. And it looked to me like that's might have been what happened.
Any more questions for Coach Holliday? Thank you.
Thank you.
Bet.
We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Tadlock.
Really good college baseball game. We're thankful to come out on the right side of it. Thankful these guys are on our team sitting to my right, and those guys over in that locker room, and nobody's got a better seat in the house than I got.
Open up to questions for the student athletes.
Mike, I guess what was kind of working for you? It seemed like you were keeping the ball a little bit low early on in that game.
The OSU, they're a great offense, and if you leave it up, they'll for sure make you pay. So that was the game plan going in, try and miss low and just try and get some ground balls. And if they swing and miss, they swing and miss.
I know it seems like we ask you all the time, but how big was it to get those 2 runs from Dylan early on, just in terms of just having that cushion a little bit for you?
Yeah, that's big time. The first to score really, helps the momentum go, and it's big for me out there too, showing, or them showing that they have my back even if I do mess up.
Josh, I know everyone's going to kind of look to the solo home run and some other things, but just what were Braxton and Gabe able to do with those 13 pitches early on right before Dylan kind of came up and got those 2 walks for you guys?
That's one thing we pride ourselves on, is seeing as many pitches as we can for the guys behind us, and we got him in some pitch count trouble there early in the game. I think he was at 58 pitches, through 1.5 times through the lineup. So that's just big because everyone gets to see as many pitches, see what he's got, and the guys behind Gabe and Braxton, like Noisy, benefit from it.
Mike, a career-high strikeouts and probably your biggest game in baseball yet. What's your game day approach when it's a day in a game like this?
I normally can't sleep in that too terribly long because I'm already thinking about it. But I just head to the field and, eat whatever they have there and just try and prepare as best as I can.
Who are some of the older pitchers that have kind of given you advice along the way and helped you throughout this journey?
John McMillan has kind of taken me under his wing this year, and he's, I played catch with him, and he's just like a second pitching coach for me. And Taylor Floyd is also there for me a lot too.
Josh, you obviously had the home run and then made a couple defensive plays. How important is that for you to not just contribute on one end but kind of have that overall game?
I guess there defensively, we just need someone to step up and make a play, and it just happened to be me this time. But, throughout the season, we've had different guys step up and make plays. So one of the biggest things we pride ourselves on is not giving up too many runs, and it seemed like we hit a lapse there on defense there for a second. I think we had 2 or 3 errors, and we were just looking for that one play. And anyone on the field could have made it. Just happened to be me this time, and I think it sparked us to get through the rest of the game.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you, guys.
Coach, I asked Josh about it, but how big were those 13 pitches that Gabe and Braxton were able to look at and get those 2 walks to get in front of Dylan before he got that big knock early?
Talking about early?
Yes,
Anytime you can separate balls and strikes, it's good for the guy behind you. And really proud of the way those guys handled that today. And you're thankful and you understand, it's baseball. And Dylan hit it on the nose, but it's right up the middle. And you're thankful the ball got through.
In terms of what Josh was able to do, is it just something that you've seen so much that you're just used to it, to where if it's a big moment, he's going to kind of come through?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, a play in the 8th was a really good play and a really big moment. And, I think he alluded to it, and we, kind of created an opportunity there. And even though the ball Boone was hit really hard. And how many times you see a ball knock somebody's glove off? Not very often. And but that was a big play. I mean, no doubt about it.
Coach, it seems another big moment for Micah, and he just passed with flying colors. What is it about this freshman that allows him to step up when the moment is the biggest?
Well, it starts with fastball command. It starts with his background. He's a very grounded young man. Doesn't get too high, too low as far as week to week, and understands the preparation he's got to put in. And that's you always see that with a freshman, but he's a guy that's been really consistent in that regard.
And, do you know who your starter is going to be tomorrow?
Killian.
And then how big is it then to get kind of that 1-0 lead and know that it's just one more game to Omaha?
Well, it's better than alternative. I mean, it is baseball, and we got a lot of respect for Oklahoma State and their team, and we understand you got to earn the right to win, but it doesn't hurt anything as far as, winning game 1. But you got to show up tomorrow and earn it.
But Taylor went down a little bit. I guess, what did the trainer tell you about what happened with him?
I hadn't had a chance to talk to him at the time. It was sprained his ankle or rolled his ankle, something along those lines. I hadn't talked to him since the game was over.
I guess, how do you kind of feel he kind of responded from that? He was able to get out of the inning and not have to kind of...
Yeah, he made some pitches. I mean, he made some pitches.
I guess just Dylan, obviously he's kind of back, it seems like, in terms of his ability to kind of be in the lineup and kind of run.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we did the right thing there as far as gave him as much time as we could, and really proud of the way Otremba played in his absence. And, with a hammy, if you've ever pulled one, it can come back, and he just needs to do a good job preparing, getting ready to play.
Late in that game, it seemed every time Oklahoma State kind of responded, you all had an answer to that. Does that just speak to the experience of this team and what they've kind of been through?
A little bit. That's definitely part of it. I thought the bottom of the 8th was huge. I mean, Easton gets on with a leadoff single, I guess, and creates, we get a little more separation there. So, yeah, I mean, I think both teams you don't get to this point by taking pitches off. These guys, even though they're amateurs, they're doing a good job with that, but each day's a new day. And like I said, you got to earn the right to win. You do that by cliche as it is. You got to play this game, right where your feet are.
Any more questions for